All right, let's get started for this class. I know that there are several students not here yet, but I do not want to wait for too long. I give you guys the problem, and we discussed that problem a little bit last week. So you understand what they test you, right? So the problem is pretty much just this many calls. Each call wants to pay that much money for the tuition. So how will the farmer John make the most of money from those calls? So they need to set up a tuition fee. So at that tuition fee, that help farmer John get the most income from the calls. So that was the problem. So we talked about what does this one really test us, right? So what does it test us? Joy. Sorting. Why it is sorting? Think about this. Why it is sorting? Why sorting will help us solve the problem? Because that's the key. It's more than just sorting. Because when we get this problem, so how can we solve it? How can we solve it? In the future, when we talk about the brute force, actually, if you do not do sorting, you can also solve this problem. You can solve this problem, but it will take much longer. It's not efficient. Hi, Michael, welcome. I have the Zoom link, but this is an in-person class. So I wanted the students to be in the class, so that will be more effective, but we do have like a student from Texas. So that's why we still open the Zoom link. So Michael, you get the problem or not? Did you get the problem or not? I put the problem, the first problem. I put it in okay, I put it in the Discord. So let me explain a little bit. So let me open the video. So the first solution we will do in the future for this kind of problem, if we do not know brute force is the solution. I have not talked about what is the brute force solution. The brute force, that means you exhaust all the possibilities. You just exhausted all the solutions, all the possibilities. Then you will get an answer. Let's just put it this way. Whatever is the tuition that the first call can pay, I can get that value, right? I can get that value. Then let's say the first call I got, it can pay like $10. Then I will just loop through, like if I have 1,000 call, I loop through the 1,000 call. And I will check who can pay 10 or more than 10. Then I will just add them together. You will get a number, right? You will get a number. But that means you get the first call. If you get 1,000 calls, then you loop 1,000 times. You loop 1,000 times. And then you get the second call. You get the second call. Okay? And the second call, let's say the second call can pay $20. You can also loop 1,000 times. You will loop 1,000 times. You will get the income for John, right? So you just need to do this for 1,000 times for each call, and then you have 1,000 call. Then you have 1 million. loops to do. Once you finish 1 million loops, then you need to remember all the values, right? Then you just pick the highest value from this 1,000 values, because each code will give you a value, right? Each code will give you a value. So what's the total? They will give you that. Does this make sense? You get what I said? Did you get what I said? So, Chloe, do you get what I said?
Yeah.
So that means that's in the brute force. So it's 1,000, right? Times 1,000, because each one you need to loop 1,000 times. That's 1 minute. That's 1 minute. To a computer, 1 minute is not big thing. It can quickly calculate it and get the result. But if you do it that way, if you submit that to the judge will not give you a high score, because that means you need to look 1,000 times 1,000. But if you do sorting, you save a lot of time. Why does it save your time? Can you guys tell me why? Joy, why? Why does it save us time to do it if we sort it? We need to understand this, that will help us. Joy, why?
I'm not really sure. Maybe it's because it doesn't need a loop that many times.
Okay, look, can you tell me why? But we need to think about this. Why it is a better solution if we sort it? Yes, it does take much less time, much less. But why it will take much less time? Why? Yes, Michael. Yes, that's very good. You are getting there. So let me think of it this way, okay? I already sorted. So I do not have to loop 1,000 times for each car. So I just need to pick one car. I know this value. Okay, that cost value. I know how many cars can pay for it because I already sorted it. So I pick the first car. I know every car can pay for it because it has the least money there. If I pick the second car, I will know that if it's 1,000 car, I will know only like 999 cars can pay for it. So that saves you another nested loop. That's huge. That is big. So that is why it is a much more efficient solution. Much more efficient solution. So I only get 2 submissions, and Joy, do you have your code written? How about you, Stephanie? Do you mind that you code in Zoom? Yeah, you can put it in Discord. Yes. And hi, Dr. Ren. So I got a very good submission. I will ask the students to explain why this works. Okay. But if you already worked on it, if you have already worked on it, and you have your code, I really wanted to, to review the code together. I really wanted to review the code together. Stephen, you have your code, right? Do you mind that you wanted to share with the class? You want to share in Zoom, or you want to just send it to me? Okay, let me check. Yeah, put it here. Thanks. So I give you like a 2 driver hubs and 3 batteries, right? Okay. Okay, can you just explain your code? Because I did not get into your code. Can you just explain? Okay. All right. So first thing, because this is the first class, okay? This is the first class first problem we're doing. So we need to learn the skills. That's okay. So first thing is this part of the code. It will not work. The reason is that when they do this contest, right? They will have like the first line, that's the input, and then the second line have everything. So you do not expect it to type the numbers one by one. Okay. So yeah, I will show you the solution there. So okay, so Joy and Michael. So I want you both to look at the screen. So what does this do? Can you tell me? What does this code do, Joy? What? What does this code do? Look at the screen. Okay, this actually is a loop, right? So the loop is trying to get the tuition that each every call can pay. Okay, that's what it is. And then you do the sort. Okay, you sort it, and then you create two lists here. So let me say the cost list. So let me say. What does this mean? Okay, this is that cost, what that cost can pay, right? That is what that specific cost can pay And this is how many costs can pay that for that, right? Okay. Then you have this sum. Okay. So you got a list of all the sums for each every call. Let me see then. Max is cost list. Okay. Actually, once you get that, you should be good, right? This is the maximum value you can get. So what's the purpose for this one? Let me see. What is the purpose for this one?
Dr. Yang.
No, Joy. You need to come to the class to look at it, to listen to my class. So Stephanie, what does this do?
Dr. Yang.
Yes.
Is it possible for you to share like the computer screen so that I can also see the things you're talking about?
To share what?
To share like the screen that's like set up in the room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know you cannot see my screen. Okay, sorry about that. Let me share my screen. Yes. Yes. I should have shared my screen. Okay. Can you see it now? Chloe?
Oh yeah, I can see now. Thanks.
You cannot see anything?
Oh, I can see it.
Okay, you can see it. So actually for Stephanie, for we get to this one, we already get the maximum income that we can get. So the only thing you do not get is that is which cost. So what is the number, right? Does that make sense? So you already get that. So what is the purpose for this one? Okay, so if it's count, if this is 2, okay. It should not, because let me say the cost list. That's the index. Oh, I see what you meant. Okay. Yeah, you're trying to find which one. The first one you get the index, so then you can use that index, find which column that's the one. So your solution is very good on this one. The only thing you see here, it's a little bit, okay? A little bit is that you have a loop, this 1,000. This already loop, let's say loops for 1,000, and then you come back to loop them again. You did a double loop. So I wanted to, you guys be aware of this. When you do this kind of contest, when you write the code, the less loop, the better. Because you use more loop, then it will cost you more time. It will cost you more time. So that's why we wanted to avoid to loop it again. So when we started to program it, then we need to have a way to think, how should I avoid looping too much? But Stephanie, I think your code will get you the right answer. Your code will get you the right answer. That's good. That's very good. So I got another submission. That's Lucas. Lucas' submission is very good. So Lucas, do you want to speak for that? You wanted to explain your code? Okay. Can you talk about it loud? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really good. Actually, look at your code is a perfect code. Okay, the perfect. If you code is with this code, you can go to actually go to the contest because this is you cannot do better than this. Let me just point this out. Okay, why this one is so good? Joy. So I want you to look at this. Okay. Why this is so good? I want you all to look at for this class, for this problem. You see what the loop. Only loop the only use one loop, right? So that means why. Let me come back to the problem. So you see the problem they always said, okay, how many calls you can have? It's 10, 5, right? The power of 5. That means actually it's not a big number. It is not a big number. So for the computer, usually it will be calculated very quickly, very quickly. But still, you need to have the sense when you go to the competition like this. So you wanted to do as fewer loops as possible to save your program, to save the time for calculating. So you see, with that in the mind, look, you say, look at the code is that, look at only use one. So no matter how, I only count the ones by each. Okay? And the thing, Stephanie, the improvement you see, Luca has it here, so you can reference is that it doesn't go back to count again to find the index or to find out how many or how much that compares. Because it has a condition here, it set the two initial value and have the condition here to see. Okay, so once now I get a bigger number, I will set that value to these two variables. So it will remember that. It doesn't come back. It doesn't come back to find it. So this is a very smart way. So that's why I say when you get to this level, you can go to the bronze test. Pretty much you will get it. Okay. This code and I will see the second perfect thing is that, or what Luca does here is that this line of code in Python, okay, you can very, very familiar. So when I did my Python class, what I taught you before is the list comprehension, right? List comprehension, you need a very few code, but you do a very complicated process. So do you guys remember what does this mean, Michael? You know? You know? This comprehension. So fluent. So what does this
Did you say my name? I can't really hear you.
Yeah, I see your name, Chloe. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what does this comprehension mean? What does it mean?
I don't know.
Okay, if you guys do not know, I suggest you guys now go to the computer, type in the conversation, type in this comprehension. Okay? Type in okay, tell me, speak louder. That's very good. It's you try to use the list code, right, to generate another list, but you are doing an process on each every item in that original list, right? So that's why when you go to the competition, you say, here's the code. You only have one line of code here. You save like multiple lines if you do a loop, right? Do a loop, you need to use for something and then do it one by one, right? So when we say, when you go to the competition, your code cannot be too long. If it's too long, you may not pass. Of course, for bronze, usually we will not be able to get to that long, right? But I want you to learn from a perfect solution here. So that's how you write the code. The code is very, very, very concise. Very, very concise. And it's only used one loop. And only use one loop. And actually, you will feel that my class will be tedious when I talk about brute force, when I talk about time complexity. And actually, that's two very important concepts when you go to the competition. So you need to have that concept in your mind. Then when you write code, you will write a very efficient code. You will write very efficient code. Okay? So you will say, why, Dr. Yang, you spend so much time talking about this abstract stuff? It does not make sense to me. It has no fun there. But if you want to go to the contest there, that's what you have to understand. And then you will understand why. Let me come back to here again. You will understand why here. So every problem, they will tell you how big this n number will be, how big that number is. Because once you have that concept, when you learn it, and then you will know 2 seconds how many loops I may be able to complete. Okay, so then you will say, okay, 10 to the power of 5. It's like a 1 million thing. It's not 1 million, actually 100. Okay, 100,000. Okay, 100,000. That may be like 100 milliseconds. I just make this number up. So you will know, okay, so I may not be able to have like 3 nested loops. If I have 3 nested loops, I will fail. My code will fail. Okay. So why they talk about this number here? Why do they talk about that? So it makes sense to you, that question? Any questions? So every problem they will tell you that, because they want you to be aware how complex can you go in your code, how many nested loops you can have. And I will tell you, okay, for the entire class of the USACO, for the entire class, what you do is that how can you shorten your code? How can you make it faster? How can you do fewer loops? That's the purpose. That is the purpose. Okay. All right. So let me put Lucas code back again. So any question for Lucas? Any question? No question? Okay, let me ask you, okay. What is the value that this variable stores? Boy. What does this variable store? What does this variable store? That's not a good. What the value is. Evan. Evan, are you there? Evan?
Yeah.
So what does this variable, what value does this variable store? Eventually, after we finish processing it, what does this variable store?
How much should be charged?
Yes, very good. That means that the optimism value, okay, optimism fear or tuition that Farmer John will charge to get that maximum income. Okay. All right. So let me give you the second problem now. So let's quickly do this in the class to see how far we can go. Okay, let me give you guys. So I will give you like this 2 problems. Then we will do lecture. Okay. Then I will start to do my lecture. Okay. This is a real problem, bronze problem. I want you guys to get your computer. This is a problem I have for you guys. Right. So let me put it in the classroom, okay? Let me put it in the Google Classroom so you guys can all go there and get it. So let me go there. I did not ask you to talk about your solution, Evan. Do you want to talk about yours?
No.
Okay. So problem 2. So let me put the file. Okay, I want you guys to work on this problem. Think about that. If you can write your code, that would be great. If not, we wanted to talk about the solution, okay? So this is the problem first. You see, as I mentioned, every problem they talk about in how big N is, how big T is, right? Because they want to give you the sense how extreme the input data will be, and then how can you avoid to, run over the time. So read this problem. Okay, you just pay attention. bears will eat only one apple. She cannot eat a tree. Okay, she cannot eat a tree. So you need to be aware of that. This did not see that, but she will only eat one apple if this. If this three, she will only also eat that one apple. Okay. Read this problem. I want you to read this problem, then we can discuss. If you can go ahead and write code, that would be great. So eventually, our class, I want you to do is that once we have a problem, and then we can start to write code. And I tell you what, look at, do you mind that I share your code to the class? I can share your code, all right? Okay, so Lucas code is really good. So I want you guys to look at what Lucas does for the first problem. And you see the list comprehension. How do you read the data? How do you get the input data? And then you see how does he use the loop? And then you can learn from that. And in the future, some functions you really want to write it down yourself. You want to save it somewhere. So when you go to the contest, you can quickly go there, copy and paste. You can use copy and paste. Get the problem done. Okay. So let me share Lucas' code as well. So you guys go to look at this. Look at this problem. Okay. So look, you can go directly to the contest with this kind of code. It's perfect. It's better than the majority of the students I can see. Yeah, if you can, this is a sample input and output. Michael, do you have access to the classroom?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. In the very beginning, if you think, okay, this is too hard, do not worry about that. Okay. So we will just do it step by step. We will get to the level. At least I hope everyone can pass the rounds this year. So look, I will give you a small slide. It is, Lawyer, you finished reading the problem?
Yeah.
How about you, Evan?
Yeah.
Jesse, did you finish reading the problem? Jesse?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, can you send
So
in the Discord?
you want me to put it in Discord?
Yeah.
Do you have access to the classroom? Google Classroom?
Oh, wait, it's in the classroom.
Yep, I put it in the Google Classroom, yes.
Cool.
So after you finish reading, give you like a two minutes to think. Of course, when you do test, usually you will have like a 4 hours, okay? But you have 3 questions. So pretty much 1 hour, you need to finish one question, one problem in 1 hour. So the problem right now give to you is relatively easy, okay? So after you're thinking for 2 minutes, so let's talk about solution. What does this really test us? What does this really test us? Or what will be a good solution for us to solve the problem? So do you guys need more time to think about it? Let me see, now it's 7:45. You need more time to think about that? I'll give you like 2 more minutes. So we will like start a discussion at 1:47. Okay, 1:47. So let's stop here. Let's think about that and discuss what does this problem test us. So what will be the ways for us to tackle this problem? So what it asked you is that find out how many hay bales that the base already ate, right? That is the question, right? Is that right? So, okay. So how can we solve this? Does anyone have any idea? Any volunteer wants to talk about it? So comparing to the first problem I gave to you, the one we had last week, this one is relatively easier than the one. But the code will not be easy. The code is not easier than the previous one. But the problem, if we think about that, how do we solve it? It's kind of easy. So does anyone have any idea? So let me ask Evan, do you have an idea? Evan?
So basically, the problem is basically saying that like it'll input like n and t, which like n is like the like the like number of lines there are, and then t is like how many days, like the first day amount of days you should look into, and then the next t lines will like have like D and B, which like D is basically on which days like Bessie will get food and how many hay bales Bessie will get. And then it's basically asking how many hay bales Bessie will eat for the T amount of days, for the first T amount of days.
Yeah. But how do we do it? Have an idea? Look. Do you have any idea, Chloe? Chloe, do you hear me?
Not really.
How about you, Jesse?
No, not yet. I'm still thinking about it.
Okay. So let me talk about two possible solutions, and you see if it makes sense. The one solution is what we are looking into is that with the input, right? With the input, you can quickly find out how many hay bales in total have been delivered, right? Is that easy to get it? Because you just get it, calculate it, add them together. That's a number, right? And the second one is that after T days, how many left? So that then you can, if once you can get that, then you know how many base it has eaten, right? Does that make sense? So the trick is that how can you get how many are left, right? So that's the part you need to figure out. So that's solution one. Solution two is that, okay, it tells you that's T days, right? T days. I just mentioned the basic can eat one hay bale per day. So the maximum basic can eat is T, right? Because that's T days. The maximum she can eat is T. Then you need to find out how many hungry days that the basic has. Once you find the hungry days, then that's a T minus the hungry days. You will get how many hair bells that the basic eats, right? Does it make sense? T is a given number. You already have that. Because the first line of code, it already tells you what is the T, because that's the second number. But how many days basic will be hungry? That's what you need to find out. And the good thing is that here, okay, this one. You look at this. That means when you get the input, they are already sorted. So the days are already sorted. So let's say the first day you get the delivery. Let's say it's the third day. That's a delivery. You know, Daisy has been hungry for 2 days already. Right? You can get this number because that's the first input. The first input of the following inputs. Right? You remember this? Let's say here this is input. So it's you only get one more line of input. For this one, you will get one line of input, and the days is 5. Okay, and here you see the delivery comes in the first day, and the delivery is 2, and there's no more delivery. That means basically is not 100 on the second day. All right, but basically is 4th day. So how many days are there? 2. Huh? Makes sense? Because the base is hungry for 3 days. Maximum is 5. So that's okay. Now put it this way now. Think about this one. The second input, so you have 2 lines of input. It's also 5 days. It's also 5 days. But you see, why do we get 3? Why do we get it? You have 2 lines of input. It's also 5 days. First day delivered 2 hair bells. The base will be not behind the first day. But the third and the fourth day, base has nothing to do. The fifth day, it is delivered 10. It is delivered 10. But it can only the basic is that's it. Because on the fifth day, now you can get the idea. How do you do this problem? Is that you need to know the second input, how many bells, how many hair bells delivered, how long it can last. And if you let me get to the second one, okay? Now there's another input. I want you guys to be aware of this. Okay, what do you say? You get it like 3. The first day is 10. That's enough all the 5 days. It's enough to cover all the 5 days. So that's why the maximum of basic is 5. It is 5. So you hear about it. I need to know which day it get delivered, and then I need to find out on that day. This guy say 200 before. If it's 100 before that, how many days is 100? Right? So yes, Michael.
What is the first two mean? 2 and 5?
Okay, 2 is that the number 2 here. Okay, 2. The question Michael asked is what does this input means? Definitely explain because I really want you guys to explain. What does it mean? 2, what does 2? Yeah. So now, Michael, so usually, you know, this number is very important. You know how many more inputs you will get. So you will use that during the loop. Usually you will use that to do a loop to get the inputs. So that means number 2 here, that means you will have 2 more inputs. You will have 2 more inputs coming in. So you needed to do a loop to get the input, right? If we use the way that look at us, you read a file in, usually looks the input it will be better because the test case they give you is a file. But of course, use Python, you can just use input. Okay, we can look at read the file, read line, right? More lines, read. So we use input, then you do a loop. You use input, right? So you look twice. Then you put this input. That number means you have 2 more inputs. Okay. 5 is the maximum depth. Maximum depth. So that's 5. Okay. So now is that you need to find a way to find out. Okay. You need to find a way to find out how many hungry days that base has. And then the other solution is that I told you, you just need to add this together. All the help bills delivered, add them together, see how many left. Then you just need to count. You just need to count it. If base is this there, if C is this there, then you know you add a 0 to it. So that means how many are left, how many has been eaten, right? You just calculate how many left. The total is how many. Then you can get how many has been eaten. So how many left? It will be easy, right? If you have 2 inputs, you get this number. If it's 10, and you see 5 minus 1, that's 4. That's the days, the difference between the days, right? The next delivery on which day, and that's the previous delivery on which day, and you will see if the previous delivery has enough to cover that difference, the days difference, right? If it has, you know, then you just use this number minus that difference. That's what it left. That's what it left. So it's easier for you to calculate that. You have the first input, the second input, and then of course you can go on have more inputs on that. All right. So you understand the problem, right? You understand the problem, and this one really does not test you a specific skill, not like the first problem we had. And it tests you if you can resort, because if you do sort, it helps you a lot. This one, it really does not need you to do sort, okay? But just avoid to do too many loops. And that just as what I mentioned, it has ordered for you by days. So that means the second input is there is promised larger than the first input. Okay. So that's the way you just progress. You just loop through the input you have, what you get, and then process it. All right. So I think time is up already, and I want every one of you to write the code and submit it to me. I will just do the homework, put it in the homework, Google Classroom homework, and they send this as a homework, so you guys can use Google Classroom to submit your code. You can just share like a Google Doc or anything like that. Use Google Classroom to submit, okay? So I can have your code, I can review your code. And during the class, we have time. We really wanted to go into your code to tell you what you did right, what you can avoid, what you can improve. So that help you improve your coding, okay? If I see good coding from the students, I will just share with you guys so you can learn from other students, okay? Make sense? Okay. All right, so any question? Any question? Is class going like this is good or not? Is it too fast or too slow? Or you want some change? Is it good for you guys? Okay. Any question from the Zoom? Jesse?
Wait, Dr. Yang.
Yes.
I forgot to submit the homework last time, but I just sent it.
Oh, okay. Good. I like you coding, Jesse. Keep doing the good work, okay? So you have question, Chloe, Ivan? Chloe.
I couldn't really like hear your explanation for like what the two numbers were.
You did not hear that one, right?
No, I didn't hear it.
So these two numbers highlighted on my screen, right? You want me to explain again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the first number you see 2, that tells you there are more inputs come. How many more? That number controls it. So when you write your code, you need to use that number because it tells you there are 2 more inputs. Okay, the second number, that's a 5. That means the maximum days. Okay, so how many days? That basic is in the bond to eat the apple. Okay, that means the maximum days, the total days. Does it make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the second number is the total days. Okay, then the input is that, let me explain this again. This one, you see? Okay, so. The second number, okay? The first number is which day you get the delivery. That means the first day you get delivery. How many deliveries? How many papers was delivered? 10. You see, maximum only 5 days. On the first day, it delivers 10. It can be enough to cover all 5 days. Maximum papers that the basic is 5 each day. It is 1. So that's why the report is. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And then go back to this coding. I want you guys now to really start coding. And I wanted to see your code. I wanted to see good code. As I mentioned, every time the best code we have, of course, the code must work and work correctly. The best code we have, we work with a very small phrase, just like a small thing. Okay. All right, I'd like you guys come to the classroom to do this class because I really wanted this to be an in-person class, so you can benefit more. I'm not planning, to use Zoom to do this one, but if you really cannot come, that's a different story. But I want you to come to the classroom. Okay. All right. So that's what I have, and thank you guys, and you have a good evening and. please do the coding. So when you keep doing it, you will feel faster and okay. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.